Finishing up on that thought on podcasts. So, it's a how-to type thing, or that's what I'm striving for. So I'm working at it. Hopefully, I'll get better at it as the semester goes along. But how to read a text, how to read the the specific text that we're reading in any one moment, how to read a complex historical text, how to read a complex text in not a survey course type way, how to read a perplexing text, and finally, my favorite, how to read a required, dead on arrival, canonical, boring, non or anti-identitarian text. Okay, so the basic one is really the problem in Gen Ed and IH, right? That a lot of these texts we know in some way, shape, or form, or we don't care about. So, how do you read something like that? Okay, and that's my job to persuade you and give you the tools to read a text that you maybe don't want to read. Um, Discussion boards or the dialectical seminar workshop. Okay, so discussion boards, which I oftentimes on the grading, in the grade book, and in the modules, I refer to uh, discussion boards as DB slash seminar. Okay, so discussion boards, DB seminar are in effect the classroom, the seminar, the workshop for an online class, right? So in effect, that's where we're doing our work. So if there were any type of physical or virtual classroom, it's in the discussion board. As I said before, two discussion boards are required each week. Usually it's an individual one and a dialectical one. Usually the deadlines are a Tuesday night and a Friday night. So the podcast sort of gives you the assignment. The podcasts are on Monday and Wednesday. So podcast on Monday, usually you have something due on Tuesday at 11:59. The podcast again is on Monday at noon, right? So it gives you about 36 hours to get it done. Okay, you can submit it anytime you want within that 36-hour time frame. So usually on a Monday podcast, you usually have something due on Tuesday by 11:59, and then for a Wednesday podcast, you have something due by Friday at 11:59. Okay, this might change. We'll see how things work out. Okay. Discussion boards are usually about 100 to 250 words if you're writing them. If you're doing some audio or video, then about 69 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds, excuse me. A dialectical discussion board, we'll talk more about that as we go on in the podcast here, is a three-part process which takes place over 48 hours. Okay. Discussion boards are credited, they're not graded. So as long as you meet the deadline and the parameters of the assignment.